Catus, Maximus here. This is going to be a quick review of the Harbor Freight Pittsburgh automotive trim and molding tool set. These are both their sets of plastic pry bars. They also have some convoluted, kind of look like this style in metal, as well as their really long tools. And I don't have the really long ones, but I'll get them and eventually just do a little video about all of them. And a real quick note, some people have reminded me, even with 16,000 subscribers, I do have a little bit of a platform. And so I don't really do politics or current events, but having a platform, my channel is welcome to anybody, regardless of who you are, what you look like, where you're from, what language you speak. My channel is just about, actually it was supposed to be more about projects, but it's really just about reviewing tools, telling people really an honest opinion about them, and opening up people more to the variety in the world of tools, allowing people to be more independent and self-sufficient. And basically, I'm intolerant of intolerance because I'm definitely weird and eccentric, so I definitely want people to accept me, treat people like you want to be treated. And I said a long time ago in my cone wrench video, when I was getting a spat of, actually targeted at just people of Chinese and Asian descent, some racial epithets, and I deleted them. And I encourage my subscribers, if they ever see any comments that I have not been able to get to that involve racial epithets or just attacking people based on the way they look, I want you to flag those comments to make sure that this channel remains welcoming to anybody who's interested in tools, regardless of the who, what, when, why, where, and how of you ended up on my channel. Everybody's welcome. Anyway, so we have the Harbor Freight automotive trim and molding tool set. As I said, there are some metal versions of these. Let's get these open. Wow, this thing is actually struggling a little bit here. There we go. I like these cutters. Apparently Harbor Freight has come out with one, but I haven't seen it in the store yet. Must be one of those weird kind of shipping issues. Anyway, these are kind of neat. We have a 5-piece set, we have a 4-piece set. You can get both of these sets, surprisingly enough, for a pretty good price. We're talking with coupons right around like $15 or something for both of these sets here. And for a cheap nylon bar set, there's going to be not a ton of difference between these. My goodness. And maybe some more professional brands, and these are probably one of the tools that actually is more advantageous from Harbor Freight, because obviously being nylon tools, these are actually reasonably stiff, and they're going to be about as strong as you can get without going with metal tools. And so what these are is for all the plastic pieces, on modern cars, there are everything, all the interior panels, the stuff around all the consoles and stuff. People don't replace their own car stereos like they used to. Manufacturers realized that if you make stereos really proprietary, integrate the information and infotainment systems in them, that basically they can put out of business all the independent audio shops, or just about all of them. So it's kind of disappointing, but for any sort of repairs, these are the type of tools to snap apart those plastic panels as effectively as possible with causing at least the minimum amount of damage. Speaking of some metal tools, I had reviewed these PT tools, which aren't good for construction work, but when you certainly have, and people had mentioned, say, wheel well, the plastic studs and, wheel well liners and that type of stuff, you would want some metal ones that are just a bit more robust, where you don't have to worry so much about marking or dinging up some plastic. But you definitely want a variety of these types of tools. The Harbor Freight ones, they're plastic, so they're going to end up wearing out, stretching, getting nicked up as you use them. And so if you buy expensive ones, the same thing's going to happen. If the tool trucks sell these and are willing to swap them out under warranty when they get worn out, that would be one thing. But these are so cheap at Harbor Freight, when you wear them out, you can just get another set for a really reasonable price. Like I said, both of these were about $15 for this whole 9-piece set. I find it interesting that they have a couple different sets here. These would be more heavier duty. These would be more for the interior panels. There are some thinner ones, just like wedges, where you start to get them in and then it starts to separate panels just to try to pop those rivets. Little tongues here. This is just another similar style, but it's a little bit curved, just so I can get into curved areas a little bit easier. And then it has a hook on the other side. This would be where there's plastic panels that actually go over the top and they kind of cup over the edge. This is so you can get back up behind that edge and start pulling them up. This would be the same thing, a much heavier duty version of getting back behind that edge, trying to separate it. And then this one actually has a ring, so when you get behind that, you can actually give a real stout, real heavy duty pull. And I'll have to say these blue ones are definitely pretty rigid. Actually, both sets are. And then this is just a really wide wedge, just so it provides a lot more surface area in case you have certain situations where the plastic panel is just wanting to flex too much with one of these narrower tools. That's the whole point to this. And you may even put this in there and then use another tool to kind of work the lip around. So you wouldn't just use one of these, you may use multiples of these in combination. These are these are the more heavier duty ones. And then these are all the different spatula styles. As we can see here, that 3 of these actually have the very same spatula end, but on the other ends, we have a 45-degree angle on a fork, we have a straight fork, and then we have just a wide wedge, which is just designed to just push the 2 panels really far apart. More than any of the tools in the blue set, surprisingly enough, it's a really wide wedge. This is a tongue style where it just has a really tight sharp edge to really get into. Maybe and these would be maybe for all the window trim that you would have to pull off the edge of the door in case a window got broken, or you just need to get inside the door. Many times you have to pull off at least the interior window trim to get the door panels off. And so these tools are a little bit more for that, and that's why they come with a lot of the flat spatulas, is because you can work it up, get one edge going, get a spatula under there, work it up, get another edge going, and until you get just the whole thing actually released. And that's kind of the big deal, is a lot of people will bend those because they are maybe integrated sheet metal, folded in a certain way. And so you can't really just pry one edge up and then peel it off, because it'll just ruin it. You really have to work it all the way along. And to prevent edges from snapping back down, that's exactly why you'd have multiples of these. And then just to help get the edge up is why they have just these different style forks. And so I definitely recommend getting both of these sets together, because they basically go hand in hand. Really, Harbor Freight should just sell them as a 9-piece set. And I have big plans. When I get a new car, my old one died quite a while ago, but when I get a replacement, I'll definitely be redoing a lot. I wouldn't say redoing, but I'll be doing a lot of demonstration videos of all these reviews. That's been the long-term goal of this channel, and it's just taken me a little bit longer than I would have hoped to get there. But obviously, I'm determined to actually make that happen, and why I continue to do videos. Actually, it's been on a daily basis for a long time, because I am determined. I'll make it work, even if it takes me a little bit longer. Anyway, I think these are pretty cool, especially for kind of a disposable tool. And there's so many places, electronics and things, where you can use plastic pry bars, and that they will save quite a bit of damage and nicking and marring. I think these things will actually come quite handy in, surprisingly enough, a variety of situations. That's what kind of caught my eye about this little blue one, was because I thought, God, there's a lot of situations, particularly like heater hoses that are right against the firewall. There's a variety of ways trying to get those to pull off, but I thought a tool like this really can grab the edge of a hose and get it up and yank it out. And same thing with this. This thing has that ring, so you can get it on the edge of a hose, or just pull it like that and really get a good yank and work those hoses and those types of things off, which I thought would be pretty handy, as well as certain types of electrical connectors. So these types of things, tools, can be used in a variety of situations besides trim, just where they're cheap plastic tools, and where the damage is more likely to occur to the tool rather than what you're working on. So it provides you just a safety margin, and actually a pretty decent variety. Anyway, I really appreciate everybody who's been watching and subscribing, and has been supporting the Catus Maximus channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. Until next time, Catus Maximus out.